Conaway, are you on the phone?
Joanne Conaway is right here. How are you?
Very good. I want you to know that you were endangered yesterday afternoon.
What happened?
I came by your place swinging a golf club,
Oh, did you?
but I missed your house.
Everybody has so far.
That's good. Eventually, I actually got it into the hole where I was supposed to aim for. So.
Oh, good. Good. What did you think of the course?
I've played there before. I like the course very much, and actually, Joe was the one that showed me around the first time I played there.
Okay. Well, he is at Plantations today playing.
That's a very nice place. I think the first time I played there, it was with Joe and Jerry Esposito.
Well, Jerry's there today, so.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Mike Correa, are you on the phone?
I am on the phone and I am live.
Very good.
Well, you're also
very good.
Well,
and I hear
not
Kim.
alive, just live. I mean, just live. I'm here.
I'm much more at ease knowing that you're live. It would be very scary if you weren't.
Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is Commissioner Drexler on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay. See you.
And how's Archie?
Update on Archie.
She's not hearing.
She's on mute, probably. Commissioner Gray, are you on? Well, right now, Commissioners, those of you who are on board, the governor's order permits us to meet on the internet like this for a while longer. We're not sure what the expiration date of that is, so we'll let you know before the 23rd of June or our next meeting.
Is so vital, and especially in a case like Chauvin. What factors and legal characteristics?
I don't know what factors there might be, but you might consider putting yourself on mute so you're not talking to the world.
Yes.
Harold Gray?
Good afternoon, Chair. I'm present. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
I'm well, thank you.
Very good.
Are our fellow commissioners all ready on the line, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I'd singularly like to both welcome and congratulate each of you for the reappointments. I am very grateful to have your continued support. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Harold.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
We have a wise governor.
I refuse to comment.
That was a true statement. Maybe.
All right.
Gloria? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June 2nd, 2021 Delaware Public Service Commission meeting. Please remember to leave your electronic gadgets on mute while you're not talking. We have the reading of the meeting minutes of May 12th, 2021. Does any commissioner have any corrections, changes to those minutes? Commissioner Correa. I'm sorry, Commissioner Gray.
Commissioner Gray moves that the minutes be adopted as submitted.
I will second the motion.
Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the minutes? Hearing none, Commissioner Correa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Conaway?
Aye.
And Commissioner Drexler?
Aye.
And Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
Thank you. I vote aye as well. The motion carries. Does any commissioner have any desire to move anything on the consent agenda to the regular agenda? Commissioner Conaway.
Move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I second. Drexler?
Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the consent agenda? Hearing none, Commissioner Correa,
Aye.
Commissioner Conaway,
Aye.
Commissioner Drexler,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
and an aye from myself. The motion carries. The next item on our agenda is the regular agenda, and there's nothing on the regular agenda, so we'll go on to the hearing schedule. And the first matter is in the matter of the application of Chesapeake Utilities Corporation for approval of a change in its gas sales service rates. It's GSR. And we have, for Chesapeake, we have Ms. Lindsay Orr.
Thank you, Chair Winslow and Commissioners. Lindsay Orr on behalf of Chesapeake Utilities. This is the hearing on Chesapeake's application for approval of a change in its gas sales service rates and firm and interruptible transportation balancing rates to be effective November 16th, 2020. The Commission should have the joint exhibit log listing 13 exhibits. It is my understanding that all parties agree that the exhibits on the exhibit log are admissible, and therefore I would like to offer those exhibits into evidence.
All the exhibits are admitted without objection.
Thank you. The company calls its first and only witness, Marie Kozel, and asks that she be sworn. I'm present.
Ms. Kozel, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Please state your name, address, and position with Chesapeake Utilities.
My name is Marie Kozel. My business address is 500 Energy Lane, Dover, Delaware, 19904. And I'm a Regulatory Analyst 3 for Chesapeake Utilities Corporation.
What has been your assignment in this docket?
My assignment in this docket was to present and discuss the calculation of Chesapeake's proposed gas sales service rates to be effective for service rendered on and after November 16th, 2020. I also participated in settlement discussions and reviewed the settlement agreement.
In connection with that assignment, did you prepare and file on September 1st, 2020, an application for approval to implement a new rate under the company's GSR tariff provisions, which application was amended on September 14th and September 28th, 2020?
Yes.
In connection with that assignment, have you also prepared pre-filed testimony as amended consisting of 31 pages of testimony together with 15 schedules?
Yes, I have.
Do you have any changes or corrections that you would like to make to your direct testimony as amended?
No, I do not.
Is the information set forth in the application, the schedules to the application, and your pre-filed testimony, all as amended, true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
If I were to ask you today the questions set forth in your pre-filed testimony as amended today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
What impact would the proposed GSR rates have on a typical residential customer?
Compared to the rates currently in effect, an average RS2 customer using 700 CCF per year will experience an annual decrease of approximately 1.67% or $1.46 per month. During the winter heating season, a typical RS2 customer using 120 CCF per winter month will experience a decrease of approximately 1.89% or $3 per winter month.
As part of your assignment in this docket, have you reviewed the settlement agreement entered into between the parties in this docket?
Yes, I have.
Do you believe that the terms of the settlement agreement, including the company's proposed rates as set forth in the company's application and as you just described, are just and reasonable and in the public interest?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Ms. Kozel. I have no further questions at this time. Ms. Kozel is available for cross-examination.
Are there any questions of Ms. Kozel?
You're muted.
Are there any questions of Ms. Kozel? Mr. Walsh?
Chairman Winslow, staff has no questions.
Do you have, I thought that Ms.
Oh,
Uri.
yes. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to ask Ms. Iori if she had any cross.
I believe there was silence when I asked whether anybody had any questions, and I took that as a negative.
No cross.
Thank you, Chairman. Staff would like to call its sole witness, Ms. Shauna Marshall, and ask that she be sworn.
Present.
Ms. Marshall, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You muted her.
Ms. Marshall, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall, could you state your name and business address for the record?
Shauna Marshall, 861 Silver Lake Boulevard, Cannon Building, Suite 100, Dover, Delaware, 19904.
And by whom are you employed?
The Delaware Public Service Commission.
And what is your position with the commission?
I'm a public utility analyst.
And in connection with your employment, have you performed certain review and investigation in this docket?
Yes.
And as part of your duties and responsibilities, did you on February 9th, 2021, file testimony on behalf of the commission staff in this docket?
Yes, I did.
And has your testimony been marked and entered into the record of this proceeding as exhibit number 6?
Yes.
And did staff retain any experts for this docket?
Yes, Mr. Jerome Mearswa of Exeter Associates was retained on behalf of staff in the DPA to assist in review of the application.
And has Mr. Mearswa's testimony been marked and entered into the record of this proceeding as exhibit number 4, confidential version, and number 5, the public version?
Yes.
And were you involved in the negotiations on behalf of the commission staff that led to the settlement agreement in this case?
Yes, I was.
And Ms. Marshall, do you believe that the proposed settlement, which has been marked, results in just and reasonable rates and is in the public interest?
Yes, I do.
Could you please explain your reasons for this belief?
Yes. Staff recommends that the rates proposed in Chesapeake's application and approved by the Commission on a provisional basis be finalized. Staff reviewed the application and supporting documentation that was provided by the company, and staff found that the proposed GSR rates are just and reasonable. They were calculated correctly and in accordance with the company's tariff. Additionally, the sharing of costs for company's compressed natural gas contract with Marlin Gas Services, LLC will result in a reduction of costs for GSR customers in the next GSR period. The company has also accepted staff's recommendation to resume quarterly discussions related to GSR recovery balances, the company's hedging program, and other areas of interest to the party.
Thank you, Ms. Marshall. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions of Ms. Marshall. She is now available for any cross-examination.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walsh. Ms. Ward, do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Iori? Commissioners? Ms. Iori, do you have a presentation to make? Or are you on mute?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I do. The public advocate calls Andrea Moucher to the stand and asks that she be sworn.
Ms. Moucher, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Ms. Moucher, would you please state your name and business address for the record?
Andrea Moucher, 29 South State Street, Dover, Delaware, 19901.
By whom are you employed?
The Delaware Division of the Public Advocate.
What is your position with the DPA?
Public Utilities Analyst?
And what are your duties and responsibilities in that position?
Primarily, I act as case manager for all dockets opened by the Public Service Commission and in which the DPA has intervened. In that role, I am responsible for review and analysis of utility filings and discovery, retention and supervision of expert witnesses, and participation in the development of positions taken by the public advocate.
As part of your duties and responsibilities, did you review the application of Chesapeake Utilities Corporation for a change in its GSR rates?
Yes.
Did the public advocate participate in retaining Jerome Mierswa of Exeter Associates to review the application on behalf of staff and the public advocate?
Yes.
Did you review Mr. Mierswa's testimony before it was filed?
Yes, I did.
And have you reviewed it since it was filed?
Yes, I reviewed it in preparation for this hearing.
As the DPA's witness, you are aware that the parties have reached a settlement in this case?
Yes, I am.
Did you participate in the negotiation of that settlement? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Do you believe that the proposed settlement results in just and reasonable rates for residential and small commercial customers and is in the public interest?
Yes, I do.
Why do you believe that?
First, the settlement recommends approval of Chesapeake's proposed GSR rates. The GSR is a pass-through of the natural gas commodity costs Chesapeake incurs to provide service to its customers. The calculations are either correct or they are not. In this case, the rates have been calculated correctly and in accordance with the company's tariff. Second, Chesapeake's GSR rates included amounts paid to its unregulated affiliate, Marlin Gas Services, LLC, for compressed natural gas. Because this is an affiliated transaction, the contract is subject to the asymmetrical pricing principles that the Commission approved for Chesapeake in docket number 00-523. Mr. Mierswa testified that Chesapeake had not established its contract with Marlin complied with the asymmetric pricing principles, which in this case would require the CNG contract to be priced at the lower of fully allocated cost or market price. In Chesapeake's rebuttal testimony, Chesapeake established to Mr. Mierswa's satisfaction that the contract was priced at market price, which in this case was lower than the fully allocated price. I do note that if Chesapeake includes contracts with unregulated affiliates in its GSR in the future, it should include in its direct testimony all of the evidence that the contract complies with asymmetric pricing principles. Third, in this application, the company did not allocate any of the CNG costs to transportation customers. Mr. Mierswa testified that transportation customers also benefit from a CNG contract, and they should bear some of the costs of that contract. In its rebuttal testimony, Chesapeake proposed to share the cost between transportation and GSR customers based on their percentage of total volume. The settlement agreement therefore provides that Chesapeake's next GSR filing will allocate costs equivalent to 2 years of the CNG contract and transportation balancing rates to recover the costs of the current GSR period, which is November 1st, 2020 through October 31st, 2021, and the projected next year's GSR period of November 1, 2021 to October 31, 2022. Finally, the settlement agreement provides that the company will continue to provide information to staff and DPA as required by previously approved GSR settlement agreements. The company, staff, and the DPA will also convene quarterly conference calls to discuss the company's hedging program and any other GSR-related matters of interest.
Thank you, Ms. Moucher. Ms. Moucher is available for cross-examination by the parties and any questions the commissioners may have.
Thank you very much, Ms. Iori. Any questions, Ms. Orr?
No questions, Your Honor.
And Mr. Walsh?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
And commissioners, any questions? concludes I assume that Ms. Orr has no further testimony or rebuttal.
That's correct,
No.
Your Honor. Thank you.
Commissioner Drexler.
Yes. Is there, I don't have the number in front of me, I'm so sorry.
9816.
9816. Move approval as presented.
Commissioner Conaway seconds.
Is there any discussion on the motion to approve proposed order number 9816? Hearing none, Commissioner Correa.
Aye.
Commissioner Conaway.
Aye.
Commissioner Drexler.
Aye.
Commissioner Gray.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. The motion carries. I would like to thank Ms. Kozel, Ms. Marshall, Ms. Moucher, and the presenting attorneys for a very fine job. It's sort of a pro forma thing, but it is, I think, very important, and I especially like the recommendations for the future. So thank you, everyone, very much for your efforts. Next on the calendar is the public comment. Is there anyone on the teleconference that would like to make any comment to the Public Service Commission? Hearing none, we're going to proceed on to administrative matters. The first one I'm going to call, and that's with reference to a request from a law firm to have the commission execute a written conflict waiver. I would just point out to the commissioners and to anyone else who speaks in this matter that the name of the client is really irrelevant. It doesn't make any sense to discuss them, so we're going to not discuss the name of the client in this proceeding, but merely the issues presented and then make a decision. Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Bill O'Brien. So what you have before you is the May 27th, 2021 letter from McNeese, Wallace, and Nurick. And so as you know, McNeese, Wallace, and Nurick represents the Commission on federal energy-related matters before the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And so they are now asking for a conflict waiver so that they can represent a different client before the PSC on matters that are not related to FERC matters. And in fact, what they say in their letter is that it wouldn't be the same lawyers representing the two different fields, and that the existing representation of this commission would be partitioned and entirely screened off from the representation that could eventually be adverse to the PSC. And the only reason why there would be an adverse matter to the PSC is if their matter with their potential client is appealed. Whether the commission order regarding their potential client is appealed, then McNeese may be on the other side of the V from the commission, and there would be a conflict. So anyway, let me explain what we're doing here today. The way this conflict waiver process works is that the PSC doesn't actually grant the waiver. Only the governor's office can grant the waiver. But before the governor's office will consider it, they do ask whether the PSC agrees to the waiver itself. And then if the PSC votes to agree to the waiver today, the Department of Justice would take the waiver to the governor's office to see if the waiver itself is granted. And so what you're being asked today is to agree to the waiver, which staff does support, and then also to delegate to the acting director, Matt Hartigan, the authority to sign the waiver letter. That's how McNeese set up the request. It can simply be signed by the acting director if the PSC, in fact, agrees to it. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer, but if not, you could simply take a voice vote on whether to agree to the waiver, and then the Department of Justice, if you agree, would take it up to the governor's office. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Brien. Commissioner Gray, do you want to make a motion to put this on the table, then we'll discuss it?
Yes, in fact, Chair, I move that the commission agree to waive conflict with respect to McNeese, Wallace, and Nurick LLC.
I second the motion, Commissioner Caria.
Thank you all.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
this Commissioner Gray, I have one question for Mr. O'Brien, please.
Certainly.
Mr. O'Brien, I understood your comments in terms of the ring fencing within the legal firm itself. I'm just curious, without identifying the client, this client that is being represented does not have any pending matters in front of FERC that are counter to the position of the PSC. Can you confirm that?
Commissioner Gray, I can confirm that that is very likely the case. The client is not an energy-related client, and FERC, of course, takes care of energy matters. So while I've not looked into that question specifically, I would say that you should feel comfortable that they are not.
Okay, very good. Mr. Chair, I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Drexler. I do have a question of Mr. O'Brien. Has there been a precedent for this when firm is acting as FERC counsel to the commission in the past that you're aware of?
Commissioner Drexler, I am not aware of that. The only firm that I am aware of that has represented the commission in front of FERC, and I could be wrong about this, but the only firm I'm aware of is McNeese, and this is the first conflict waiver that we've gotten from McNeese. I would also just say that at some point, if the commission could just confirm, if they do vote to agree to this waiver, if they could just confirm that Mr. Hartigan has the authority to sign the letter on their behalf.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gray, your motion includes that, am I correct?
I would be more than willing to amend my motion to include the condition that Acting Executive Director Hartigan has the authority on behalf of the commission to sign the letter.
Commissioner Correa, does that meet with your approval?
Yes, it does.
Are there any other questions of the parties or of Mr. O'Brien or hearing none? In the vote, Commissioner Correa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Conaway?
Aye.
Commissioner Drexler?
Aye.
Commissioner Gray?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. The motion carries. Mr. Hartigan.
Thank you, Chairman Winslow and Commissioners. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, June 23rd. Thanks.
Okay, that seems to be it. Is there anything else for the good of the commission?